بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك وعلى آل بيتك الطيبين الطاهرين. السلام عليك أيها المظلوم. السلام عليك أيها المذبوح. السلام عليك أيها العطشان. Peace and blessings be upon you, Rasulullah. Peace and blessings be upon you, Aba Abdullah. O martyred one, O slaughtered one, on the plains of Karbala. Today is Ashura. Today is the 10th of Muharram. Ashura is the most tragic day for all Muslims, in particular the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, in particular the lovers of Ahlul Bayt. The day when 72 brave and faithful men were martyred, the day of great sacrifice, the day Islam was saved from destruction, the day the Holy Prophet leaves heaven to join us in mourning, the day Imam Ali leaves the heavens, the day Lady Fatima leaves heaven to cry with us for the 72 martyrs. The day of Ashura, a very sad day, a day full of tragedy. What shall we recite today? Which tragedy shall we remember today? So much suffering, so many dead, so much sacrifice, so much patience, so much to cry for, so much to do Maqtal for. My friends, if we do not cry today, when else would we cry? Traditionally, we recite the Shahada of Imam Al-Husayn today. My fellow brothers and sisters, I have neither the courage nor the heart to recite in details the Shahada of Imam Hussain. Lady Fatima is with us. Please, Lady Fatima, do not cry as we remember the tragedy of your son on the plains of Karbala. Ashura came to the land of Karbala. Ali al-Akbar gave the adhan. Everyone prayed Salat al-Fajr. Yazid's men blew the trumpets to start the battle. The battle began one by one. Hussein's friends and companions went to the battlefield and gave their lives for Islam. By their time, all the friends and companions were martyred. Hur has been killed. Habib ibn Mudahir has been killed. Aoun and Muhammad had been killed. Qasim was torn into pieces. Abbas was lying on the bank of the Euphrates. Ali al-Akbar's chest was torn open with a spear. Ali al-Asghar had been buried. After losing all his companions, Imam Hussain headed towards the tent and called out, Ya Zainab, O Zainab, O Kulthum, O Sukaina, O Rabah, O Ruqayya, peace be upon you all. This is our final farewell before we meet in paradise. The woman came out and surrounded Hussain on his horse. One would say, where to, our dear protector? Another one would add, where to? Where to? Our hope. Lady Zainab asked Hussain, my brother, did you give in to death? He answered, how can the one without any helper left not given to death? She said, then how can I witness your martyrdom and still care for the women and children? I wish death over such an experience. He said, Sister Zainab, be consoled by Allah. Everyone dies, and you know my grandfather faced death. My father, mother, and brother faced death, and they all had a higher status than myself. Lady Zainab was overwhelmed with grief until she felt faint. Imam Hussain stepped off his horse and tried to comfort his grieving sister Zainab by hugging her. And then he placed his hand by her heart and asked Allah to give her patience. He noticed his dear daughter Sukaina crying over her head and said, your cries after me will last for a long time. So do not break my heart. Oh Sukaina, do not break my heart now with your tears. Sukaina then asked Imam Hussain if he gave in to death, and he answered her with the same words, how can the one without helpers left not give in to death? Then he got back on the horse, but Sukaina ask him to go back to her. When he stepped down, she took his hand and put it on her head. Imam Hussain understood what she was doing. My father, after I become an orphan, there will be no one left to rub my head. Imam Hussain asked Lady Zainab to take him to the tent of Imam al-Sajjad, Imam Zainul Abidin. Imam al-Sajjad was lying unconscious on his bed. Lady Zainab shook his shoulder and said, "Oh, ya Sajjad, son Sajjad, your father has come to see you." Sayyid al-Sajjad opened his eyes. He saw his father, who was wearing white clothes marked with blood spots. "My son Sajjad, I have come to say, fi amanillah, fi amanillah, fi amanillah, ya shaheed Allah, fi amanillah, ya habib Allah. I am going to the battlefield. Why? Oh, Father Hussain, why are you going to the battlefield? Where are the others? Habib, Qasim, my uncle Abbas. Imam Hussain answered, they were all killed. What about Ali al-Akbar? Tears poured from Hussain and Zainab's eyes as Sayyid al-Sajjad inquired about Ali al-Akbar. Son Sajjad, don't ask me about anyone else, my son. Everyone is dead except for you and me. Sajjad tried to get up from his bed. He said, Amma ya Zainab, Lady Zainab, give me my sword. I will go to the battlefield. I will save my father's life. No, son Sajjad, no, you are too sick to fight. Son Sajjad, your jihad is still to come. Imam Hussain continued, son Sajjad, you will have a lot of work to do after my death. You will face lots of hardship and suffering, my son. Sajjad, stay on the true path. Son Sajjad, do not be afraid to fight for truth and justice. My son Sajjad, be patient. Son Sajjad, maintain your patience at all times. Son, Allah is with people who remain patient. Patience, my son, patience. Imam Hussain continued, my son Sajjad, convey my salam to all my friends, my Shia, when you reach Medina. Son Sajjad, do tell them Hussain died for truth and justice. Lastly, my son, tell my Shia to remember me whenever they drink water. Fi amanillah, my son, fi amanillah. Imam Hussain stepped up to the horse, and the women surrounded him to get his blessings before he left. He then heard a call, Akhi ya Hussain, my brother, wait for me. He looked over, it was Lady Zainab. He asked her, yes, my dear sister, what did you want to tell me? She went to him and embraced his blessed neck and chest, then looked towards Medina and said, Ummahu ya Fatima, my mother Fatima, the trust has been returned. لقد أديت الأمانة أمه. She told Hussain, my mother Fatima hugged me as she approached death and told me, my daughter Zainab, I trust you with this. When Hussain becomes alone in Karbala, embrace his neck and chest, because this is where the swords will cut into and where the horses will step onto. Hussain was taken back by the name of his mother. Do you know how much he missed her at that point? Then Hussain took out the sword and headed towards the enemy, saying, أنا الحسين ibn Ali. I am Hussain and son of Ali. That is better than humiliation for me. The enemies could not fight Hussain one by one. So Umar ibn Sa'd commanded them to attack him all at once, while Hussain was repeating, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah we return. Some of the enemies described Imam Hussein's bravery. He was chasing them like a lion chases around sheep as they cowardly ran away. Narration tells us many details about what happens next. When thirst overtook Hussain, he went to the river to get some water. One of the enemies asked him, Hussain, you want to drink water while your family was killed thirsty? Hussain dropped the water from his hand. The enemies began to throw spears at him, shoot at him with arrows, and threw stones at him as the bleeding from his wounds exhausted him. Mal'oon hit Hussein's face with a big stone. As he wiped the blood off, an arrow with 3 heads struck deep in his chest. Hussain could not pull the arrow out, so he pushed it until it came out of the other end, and the blood gushed out of his blessed chest. He took the blood and put it on his beard, and he said, "هكذا ألقى جدي." This is how I will meet my grandfather Muhammad, covered with my blood. يا شيعة نادوا حسينا جميعا وحسينا وغريبا. Imam Hussain could not keep himself on the horse from exhaustion. His horse, Dul Jannah, felt the pain of his master. Lead gently until Imam lay on the ground. Umar bin Saad then commanded the soldiers to get the precious horse, but the horse kept resisting. When they gave up, he went to Imam Hussain and gently rubbed his head with the Imam's blood, as if he wanted to send a message to Zainab. He wanted to send a message to the women of Bani Hashim, waiting to hear news about Imam Hussain. The horse proceeded back to the camp. When the woman heard it outside, Zainab told Sukaina to go and welcome her father. When Sukaina opened the tent's entrance, she saw the horse covered with blood, and the Imam was not there. Oh horse, where is Imam Hussain? Oh horse, where is your warrior? Oh horse, where is your knight? Oh. Sukaina began to yell, "Amma ya Zainab, ya Zainab, they killed my father. They killed my father Hussain. قتلوا أبي يا عمّا." The woman went to the horse, who guided the woman to see Imam Hussain. They found him on the ground in pain and whispering to Allah. He's saying, "Ilahi, taraktu al-khalqa turran fi hawak, wa aytamtu al-ayala likay arak, walau qatta'tani bil-hubbi iraban, fama mala al-fuadu li siwak." He was whispering to Allah, "I am leaving this life to join you. My children will be orphaned for your sake. And even if they cut me up, oh Allah, my love will only be for you. I have fulfilled my promise, Ya Allah. All the martyrs are for your sake." Sayyida Zainab sat Hussain up. She held him and raised her hands to the sky and said, "Allahumma taqabbal minna hadha al-qurban." Oh Allah, accept this great sacrifice from us. Imam Hussain was quiet, so Sayyida Zainab begged him. She told him, "By the right of our grandfather Muhammad, by the right of our father Ali." Then when she added, by the right of our mother Fatima. He opened his eyes and said, أختاه لقد جرحت قلبي. Sister, your words broke my heart. Go back to the tent and protect the children. ارجعي إلى الخيام يا زينب. The army of Yazid had begun to attack the tents of the camp of Imam Hussain. When Zainab left and returned to the tents, the enemies came one by one to slaughter Imam Hussain. Every one of them would get terrified and step back from killing the Imam. Umar bin Saad then told his soldiers, find me someone who does not recognize Hussain. Find me someone who does not know Muhammad or Ali, so that they dare to slaughter Imam Hussain. Salamullahi alayk ya Mawla, ya Aba Abdullah. I wish I was there. They would have struck me instead of you. Sayyida Zainab is trying to protect the women and children. She called out, Wa Muhammadah, Wa Aliyah, Wa Qillatana Nasirah. The enemies are coming to our tents. Is there anyone to help us? Nida Zainab, Labbaik ya Zainab. Everyone, Labbaik ya Zainab. Sayyida Zainab is trying to protect the women and children. She is calling out, Wa Muhammadah, Wa Aliyah. But her concern is with Hussain. What is happening to my brother? She tries to find an elevation so she can see what is happening on the battlefield. Imagine being in the shoes of Sayyida Zainab. This is her brother and Imam. She looks for an elevation area and she goes on what is known now as At-Tallu Zainabiyya. She goes up there to see Imam Hussain. She sees Imam Hussain lying on the ground. Some narrations say she ran to Imam Hussain. Sayyida Zainab then hugged Hussain, but the cursed Shamir hit her with the back of his spear, so she lost conscious. Shamir the La'in struck Hussein's chest with his dagger multiple times and began to cut off his head. The head of Imam Hussain, Sayyidi wa Mawlai. When Sayyidati wa Mawlati Zainab regained conscience, she opened her eyes to see the Imam's head held high on the spear with blood covering his white hair. Wa Hussaina, wa Shahida, wa Ghariba. عظم الله أجرك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان. What is happening to your heart, O Mawla, Sahib al-Zaman? When you see your grandfather Hussain on the land of Karbala, his head is stuck on a spear. ومولاي وحسينا ومولاي وعطشانا ليتني كنت معك مولاي. I wish I was slaughtered before you, Sayyidi. Inna lillah وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. أسماء اللطمية إن شاء الله. حسينا وحسينا 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 حسينا وحسينا 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 حسينا وحسينا 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 حسينا وحسينا 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 غريبا وغريبا 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 مظلوما ومظلوما 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 شهيدا وشهيدا 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 حسينا وحسينا وحسينا وحسينا. Oh thirsty one, oh thirsty one, oh thirsty one, oh thirsty one. Oh slaughtered one, oh slaughtered one, oh slaughtered one, oh slaughtered one. Oh thirsty one, oh thirsty one, oh thirsty one, oh thirsty one. Oh slaughtered one, oh slaughtered one, oh slaughtered one, oh slaughtered one. Oh lonely one, oh lonely one, oh lonely one, oh lonely one. Oh lonely one, oh lonely one, oh lonely one, oh lonely one. حسينا وحسينا 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 حسينا وحسينا وحسينا وحسين. Everyone please. حسينا وحسينا 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 حسينا وحسينا 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 مظلوما ومظلوما 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 مظلوما ومظلوما 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 عطشانا وعطشانا 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 عطشانا وعطشانا وعطشانا وعطشانا. إلهي إلهي برأس الحسين إلهي بغربة الحسين، إلهي بدم الحسين، إلهي بعطش الحسين، إلهي بدم الحسين. سيدي ومولاي يا صاحب الزمان، This is your عزاء، هذا عزاؤك سيدي. Please accept it from us. إلهي بصرخة زينب، بغربة زينب، بصبر زينب، عجل لوليك الفرج سيدي. سيدي لقد ضاقت صدورنا وشمت بنا عدونا، وزينب عند هذا اللعين يزيد. سيدي أين أنت يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان؟ سيدي I know you're at the shrine of Imam Hussain. أنت الذي قلت سأبكينك صباحا ومساء، ولا أبكين عليك بدل الدموع دما. سيدي بدمعة الحسين، ببكاء الحسين، بقلب الحسين، عجل إلينا. We miss you our Imam. Come to us please سيدي. إلهي cure our sick، اشفي مرضانا بحق هذه المجالس الحسينية، وانصرنا على أعدائنا، على أعداء الإسلام، واحفظ مراجعنا يا الله. يا الله 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 يا الله. عجل لوليك الفرج، واجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه، والذابين عنه والمسارعين إليه في قضاء حوائجه، والممتثلين لأوامره، والمحامين عنه، والسابقين إلى إرادته، والمستشهدين بين يديه. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.